Hi, I'm Jesse Sage. This is When We're Not Hustling, and we are talking about episode 13.
13.
13, lucky
Yeah,
13. Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
Hi, I'm Emily Foster. I'm the producer of When We're Not Hustling. This is the after party. Please like and subscribe. Today we're talking about clowns.
I know, and that was with Ramona Flower, and Ramona Flower is like the biggest bombshell on the face of the planet. Like, it's ridiculous.
I know we say this a lot, but like seriously.
I have to say, and I think Ramona knows this, so I think Ramona knows it, so I don't feel bad saying it. I knew about Ramona Flower like 10 years ago because my partner was in love with her.
Oh, they
like
have amazing taste, I must
like
say.
loved her and followed her back in the day in like the cam days when like she was very popular with
Gotcha.
Chatterbait. And it's funny because today I was saying to them, oh, I want to build this like picture collage wall. And then I was like, oh, Ramona sent me a picture of her clown wall, so let me show you. And I tried to pull it up on my phone, and PJ's like, I know Ramona's aesthetic, I've seen.
I'm well versed.
I'm well
Thanks.
versed in all things Ramona.
Oh, I love it so much.
And I don't even, that is something I'm not jealous about because I'm like, of course,
Yeah,
you're,
duh.
yeah. It was really funny because we worked
How could you
together.
not?
We worked together one day and I was like, we got to do something to like make PJ jealous. And it was very funny. We like took this little video of us like facing each other and like shaking our boob
Nice.
and texted it. And PJ was like, oh my God, what?
I love it.
Sometimes I love this job. You
It's
know,
kind of great, it
it's
seems.
kind of
Yeah. Like
all
every
right.
once in a while, there's some really good days.
Yeah. When I shake my boobs with Ramona, it's a good day.
You know, I think that's a good thing to write down on the vision board.
Yeah.
Bad
Yeah.
days, Ramona boobs.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't complain
You
that
know, I,
badly. When you ask people like, how are you doing? And they say, can't complain. That's this
yeah,
is the thing that I use. I can't really complain. Like I have this job where I've like shake my boobs with Ramona Flowers. So
I mean, be rude. No, Ramona was so cool. You see the subjects ahead of time, and I'm like getting ready. And I'm like, okay, clowns.
Mhm.
Clowns?
Yeah.
And I had to, of all of the subjects we've covered, it is the first one that I'm like, I read
What are we gonna
it. I know that's
say?
not what we're talking about,
For an
but
hour? We can talk about clowns for an hour? Yeah.
it was so cool.
I know.
Like,
It really
it's like,
was.
oh, clowns. Okay.
Well, when I took there was so many interesting threads that I did not anticipate before going into it. One is talking about like neurodivergence and masking, and that was
Right,
super interesting. And like clown masks. Another one was talking about like finding joy in the world. And
yes.
and the thing that I thought was
And
so
joy is defiance. Like,
yes.
like
Yeah.
defying the shit world around us that is just constantly, it's just constantly terrible. And
Hmm.
and just the revolutionary act of being like, I'm just going to be joyful today, actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna go thrift for some clowns. And the thing that
Yeah,
I love, and this is kind of one of the things that I love about this like world that we're in, that sex workers are in, is that like sex workers have like a tremendous amount of power to uh influence other people too, because we have fan bases and
right,
followings.
right.
And I
Absolutely.
loved what she is doing with that and saying like, okay, so not only am like I getting joy out of going around the world and seeing like, is there clown stuff, but then she's like, I have fans and clients who and friends who like are out and about in their lives and are like, it's a clown. Ramona would like
I would
that.
love that.
Yeah. And and I was like, damn, I never thought about that. I should be a collector of something because then I could like
Right.
then you like put you are pushing other people, and I didn't think about this as she talked about it, but she's pushing other people to look for silliness in the world.
Yes. To consider frolic and folly when they
Yeah,
wouldn't normally. Like,
right. I'm
Yeah.
just going about
I
my
ignore
day and I'm like,
clowns.
oh,
I
I
don't
gotta
know
get
if
to
I
the
will
post
now.
office and I gotta do this and I gotta get groceries and I gotta do this. And then I stop to be like, there's a clown.
There's a clown. Yeah. No, I think after hearing that, I will at that interview, I will definitely consider clowns more in the world. Like,
Yeah.
and she talked about the concept of the divine fool and just
Hmm.
bringing in that, that I don't I I'm a little Gen Xy and I'm definitely depressy
Hmm.
and I definitely have, we grew up with like it's not cool to be into shit. It's not
Yeah.
cool to be excited. You're
Yeah.
gonna get teased. The world's gonna
Hmm.
make fun of you. And
Yeah.
like the only cool thing to do is be aloof and over
Hmm.
it.
Yeah.
And I kind of just, that's where
Daria
clowns
was
landed. I
our
was like, what?
example
Yes.
of
Yeah.
how to be
Fine.
in the world. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
like, and clowns definitely are the antithesis of that.
Yeah.
So firmly living in this world, every title I have, songwriter, poet, they can all be angsty and detached, they
Yeah.
don't have to, but like clowns are like, yeah, screw that. Here now, silly now. Like, for as
Yeah.
long as this grease paint's on, and that's a minute, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
what you will, try to look at this and think things are
Yeah.
fucking boring.
I know it's almost like going back to the after party we did for last week's episode with Madeline Blair and thinking about
Right.
personas and putting on
Personas,
personas and
yeah.
like what could be, you know, good about that. So for her, she was talking about how it allowed her to like stop stuttering and like and to find voice, not just to stop stuttering,
Yeah.
but to like find her own
Yeah.
voice. I feel like one of the things that Ramona's talking about is like putting on and inhabiting a silliness, you know,
Yes.
allow opening up to allowing a silliness.
Yeah. And not once in that hour-long discussion of joy and clowning around
Hmm.
literally and all of it's this, the silliness,
Yeah. Hmm.
never once was there anything that bordered on toxic positivity.
No.
Because that's a
Mm-mm.
real
Yeah.
turnoff, that,
Yeah.
oh no, I just like, think positives.
Yeah.
Oh, I called the electric company and told them I was thinking positive thoughts, so don't charge me this month, off. Like, but this superseded that. This
Yeah.
just like passed right on by. That's like, yeah, the electric company is calling, and you know what? You could be silly instead of
Yeah.
sad. You could.
Yeah. You
You
could. Yeah.
could.
Yeah. Right.
You
Yeah.
don't have to, but that option's there, just so you
Yeah.
know.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. And
yeah.
and to there's like been a through line, I think, in all of these episodes of thinking about things more communally too. And I feel
Mm.
like
Mhm.
that was also here, like especially in this
Yeah.
like sharing of the positivity that's not that in a not toxic way, in a like, how do we bring joy to other people?
Yeah. I think one of the tenets of toxic positivity is that it puts all of the onus on you.
Yeah. Hmm.
Whereas this was reciprocal and generous.
Yeah.
Clowns are generous. You don't have to want their silliness, but they're not asking you to do it. They're giving
Yeah.
it to you.
Right.
And even if
That's
it's
a really
just a
good point.
painting of them on the wall, it's a gift. It's a
Yeah.
gift. And it's creating this. Whereas I feel like the toxic part of it is just like, you fix it. You
Yeah.
get happier so I don't have to feel sad.
Yeah.
It's like, whereas the clown's like, everyone's sad by nature. Look how silly I am. Like,
Right.
it's like,
Yeah. And I mean, there is that
yeah,
like trope of the like the sad clown too. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
clowns aren't
English
just,
beat, Tears of a Clown.
yeah. I mean, clowns aren't just happy, that
No,
there's a
no,
depth
definitely.
actually. And I
Yeah,
think that that's the interesting thing is like underneath the mask is a depth that, and it's only, I'm like thinking here, but it's like in the depth that you can also experience like the height of silliness and
yeah,
under like have an appreciation for it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And learn to embody it, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so easy to be so it's easy to be serious, it's easy to be aloof, it's easy to be
Yeah.
like, oh, stop that silliness.
Yeah.
But why?
I know.
Like,
I am guilty of this, of being like very serious. I mean, I'm somebody who laughs a lot, but like I am a fairly serious person and
you mentioned that in the podcast. Yeah.
yeah,
Where you're
I'm
like,
not
I've
good.
struggled with this. Like,
Yeah, I'm not good at
yeah,
suspension of disbelief. I'm just
sure.
like not good at it. I'm not good at fantasy. I'm very good at like fantasy,
Sure.
but I'm not
Fantasies, but not maybe
fantasies.
not fantasy as a genre.
Yes, exactly. Like, and I think maybe that's why I like one of the things that I like about my work is that it does open up a space for me to do that while still
Right. Oh,
thinking of it
interesting.
in
Yeah.
this like, oh, but it's my job. So like I,
Sure. It's framed
e-
under work, so it's okay to be creative
so
and imaginative.
yeah, yeah, and I kind of need that. And so like I think like we have this very funny thing, like it's become like a family meme. So like and PJ wrote it into our vows, but when we were first dating, because PJ is more silly than I am, we were watching Army of Darkness. Have you seen that?
Mm. Oh,
Okay.
yes. Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
we're
Big
watching
silly
Army of
guy over here.
Okay, see, I cannot, this is what I cannot do. I'm like,
Good ass,
what?
badass.
Yeah. And so we're watching with the kids, my kids that I had in a previous marriage. So we're a new relationship. The kids are older. We're like watching all these movies, and I'm sitting there and I'm trying to get into this like so hard. I'm trying so hard, but it's so painful for me. And
Sure.
then like there's this point where the skeletons come up out of their like graves, and the one starts coughing. And he's like, and then like there's puffs of smoke. And
Mhm.
that was like the breaking point for me. And I stopped and I was like, that's it. Skeletons can't cough. And I like went and did something else. I was like, no. And they're like, that was the
That's
breaking
so
point.
delightful.
They're like, not
That's
the
the
part.
point.
That's the point. Not the point where like the chainsaw like fell perfectly on his
Right.
stump and he had
Just
a
clicked onto
chainsaw.
it. Instead of blood loss, he just had a perfect chainsaw connector on his arm. That didn't bother you.
Yeah, no, but it was just like by that point, I was like, I can't.
Skeletons have no lungs. Where was that dust stored?
Like I can't with this movie at all. And so
Oh,
then
that's so
like
great.
they always like the kids and PJ for like years after that would make fun of me every time they were like trying to joke around and I was being serious and doing like the mom thing. They'd be like, skeletons can't cough.
That's amazing.
and and in our wedding vows, PJ somehow wrote in that he fell in love with someone who does not believe that skeletons can't cough. So
Oh,
anyway, it's a real
bless
thing.
them.
It's like a real thing for me. Like and I think it's because I grew up like an oldest child. I was in charge of everything really young. I did not have a lot of play. I had a lot of worries as a young person about just like surviving and functioning. And then I had kids
Yeah.
really young. And I think I just like have been taking care of business. And it's so
Yeah.
important to
You were
me.
also like, you were young, you were shorter, you have a
Hmm.
baby face. Being
Yeah.
taken seriously
Yeah.
was a matter of life or death for you. And
Yeah.
like I'm a taller and older looking female in the world, and I can
Yeah.
still tell you it is freaking hard to be seen and
Right.
heard with any kind of authority. And like I can imagine
And I went
abandoning
into
frivolity,
philosophy, which was like
right?
a
Which is pretty serious, male
very
dominated shit
serious and
show.
very male
Yeah.
dominant. Yes, it is a serious male dominated shit show. This is why I quit after 4 years of my
Yeah.
PhD. But like, no, and there was this whole like they weren't taking me seriously anyways. You're right. I didn't
Right.
think about that, but I had to fight so hard to be taken seriously. And
Right.
even like when I finished my master's degree, my first master's degree in theology, I was at graduation and my advisor was congratulating me. I don't know, talking to me afterward.
Hmm.
I think he put some thing on me. I can't remember a shot, something ceremonial, right? So we
Sure.
were doing something ceremonial. And then at the end of it, he was like, you're the brightest and best student I've ever had here. And I didn't when I met you the first day when you came in, I didn't have any expectations of you. I was like, motherfucker, that was the
At
most
least you didn't think I was going to fail immediately. Look,
that was the most like backhanded
yeah,
compliment. Like, but you're a
yeah.
pretty girl, so like
You
I
were a
didn't
cute little girl, so like,
why would I think that you would be able to do anything? And I was
yeah.
like motivated for
Mm.
many years of my life, I was motivated with this like rage of like, I will show you that
Really resonate with that. Yeah.
I can do this. Yeah,
Oh, oh, I can't
yeah, let me
because
show
I
you.
was born with ovaries.
Yeah.
Well, guess what
Until
I'm doing with my life?
yeah, until I dropped out of my PhD program and I had my therapist at the time, who was also a PhD student at the university. I was doing like their university therapy. He was fantastic. He was a no, he wasn't gay. He was a black man trying to also survive this like hellish PhD system.
Right,
So like we were together for 4 years, like doing my therapy while he was coming up in the program and I was. And I swear half the therapy was just like surviving this like system that was not
right,
built for him and it was not built for me.
right.
And he the day before I dropped out, I was like talking to him about all of the things that were going on. And I was like, yeah, but like they're gonna like have the last word if I do this and blah blah blah. And he looked at me and he's like, Jesse, um, you don't have to play their game. You don't have to. You could walk away from the table. Like you're sacrificing
Right.
yourself to a game with rules that they made. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I am. Why am I doing that? Like, I hate this. Like, I think, yeah. So all of a sudden, that sort of like desire to like beat them at their game, I was like, why am I even playing this? Like,
What
this,
am I doing? Yeah. No, I recognize that turning
yeah,
point of being like, okay, I'm really glad for all the information that I gathered in the midst of this rage, but like, I'm
yeah,
never gonna like I'm never gonna just magically grow a penis and be taken seriously by these
right.
guys.
Yeah.
And even with the amazing medical advancements that there are, if I wanted one and deserved one and paid for one, I still wouldn't be accepted by these guys. Like
No. And
it,
like, do I want to
and
do this to myself forever?
for
Maybe I just,
what? To get into that club?
right.
To hang out
And
with a bunch
that's,
of cis white guys who
yeah.
hate everybody else?
I know
Like,
that was the calculus I did. I was like,
who's the guy,
okay,
Disonius? The one who
Dionysus.
ate Dionysus with the dogs. He did the chicken. Is this a man?
Oh, I don't
Like,
know.
someone out there will know
Okay.
who I'm talking about, but
Yeah.
I don't have my own producer here to look it up. But there's some philosopher who just thrived on pointing out how stupid people were
Oh,
about
yeah.
their bullshit and
Hmm.
like and lived with dogs purposefully like in the
Okay. All right.
street to like what this is the way and like it's like the last philosopher I was like, well, okay, your trip's kind of cool.
Yeah. It wasn't Nietzsche, was it? Did Nietzsche live with dogs?
No, but I can see Nietzsche doing that.
Yeah,
Although
me
I
too.
do feel like Nietzsche would want you to notice a little more.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Just a teeny bit. I
Yeah.
don't quite buy his complete nihilism. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
if people didn't like this as much, would you still be as into it?
Yeah.
Just curious. I'm not
Yeah.
doubting you, but
Yeah. Like, because that dude was also driven by something.
some things,
So,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, that was the calculus that I did is I was like, okay, so let's say that everything works out in my favor. I get a tenure track job in philosophy and at a good university in a city that I actually want to live in. Best case scenario, which is
Best
unlikely,
case.
but best case
Right.
scenario. Wait, then I fight with these dudes for the rest of my life about whether I should be there or
Every
not
day.
every
Every
day.
day you get to wake up and get like,
And I was like, wait, but I don't want that. Why would I want that? No,
right.
never mind. I don't even want the best case scenario. So, like,
Yeah. You're
this
like,
doesn't
ew,
make any
wait.
sense. Like, if
Yeah.
you look at your career trajectory and was like, if the best thing ever happened, I would hate it.
it might be a
That's,
good time to look at a different career. If
yeah,
that's
yeah,
your experience,
yeah.
then yeah, I think it's time to be like, maybe.
Maybe this isn't for me anymore. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
think that the point you're making is really important, which is that like I've often criticized myself for being like for having this kind of like inability to be silly about things or even just like light about them, to like dive into everything that I'm doing with
Mm.
like an intensity. But I was like set up to do that in a lot of ways. And that's
Yeah.
why like I love Ramona reminding us like we could also have fun.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I think that I
And
love
she was
that.
kind of talking about the fact that it was a struggle for her too. She is
Yeah.
working to open up space for this in her life.
And I think that, if maybe Ramona can be the impetus to you knowing like, hey, people take you seriously now. You can be
Yeah.
as silly as you want, and people are still going to be like, well, yes, that's Jessie Sage. She's an expert in these fields. Yes, I see that she has giant clown shoes on, but she's still an expert in these fields with two masters and
Well,
like
this is why I've also like, I mean, I've always been high femme, but like the one thing that I did stop doing was thinking that that was a negative. Like feeling like I
Mhm.
needed to fight with people about my
Right.
legitimacy
Yes.
because I remember going to a lot of like, and to me, that's, I remember going to a lot of philosophy conferences, feminist philosophy conferences, where I was like, well, this is the place that I'll fit in. And then they're sitting there talking the whole time about like how people who are wearing eyeliner are bowing to the patriarchy. And I'm like, fuck me, like I can't even be here. And
Mhm.
like you don't like how I wear my makeup. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Like I don't care really what you think about
Yeah.
it. And then that's kind of what I loved about getting into sex work. I was like, sex work is the place that I can wear cat eyes every day and no, and people are going to think that I'm taking it seriously. And I am.
Yeah.
And I
No,
get my
that's
nails
fair.
done every once in a while. One time I said to PJ, I was like, yeah, my nails, something about my nails being like difficult to pick change up off the ground or whatever. I don't know.
Mm.
And they were like, well, you could like take them off. And I was like, shut your mouth. No, I
Why
cannot.
don't I use these beautiful nails to point to where the change is that you need to go pick up?
Because that is not an
Or me, I have
option.
guitar nails. I'll pick it up for you.
Yeah. Like that's just not
I
an
paint them
option.
red so it's really easy for you to see when I point.
Yeah,
See?
exactly. Anyways, yeah, I really appreciated that reminder. So yeah, it was good. It was a good
Yeah,
episode.
it
More,
was
it
a really good
was
episode.
deeper than you
And
would think that a discussion on clowns would be.
absolutely. And more liberating. It was more
Yeah.
liberating than I expected clowns to be. No
Yeah.
offense to clowns, but I didn't expect you to
Yeah.
have me come out the other end going, yeah,
I
I'm
think
gonna
that
do a silly crab walk.
I mean, 13 episodes in, what I'm finding out though is, I mean, I think both of us, when we created this show, were like, well, we'll just see what people have to say. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know where this is going,
I
but
don't
we'll
know.
see
Let's
what
find
people have to
out.
say. And what I found is that, like, there's so many things that I never think about that people have gotten so much out of that it's like, even just 13 episodes in already, I feel like expanded my
Yeah.
a lot.
Well, I mean, last week you were inspired to start making in the world, just
Yeah.
making something physical. You make
Yeah.
constantly, but it's a little more ethereal.
Right.
And
Yeah.
here we are this week, and you're inspired to be a little sillier and to
Yeah.
explore that. And I'm experiencing the same thing. I'm a better person for having participated in this show.
Yeah.
Like,
I
I'm
love
like,
that.
oh, I'm better now.
Yeah. 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 I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
On
is
that
not
note,
guaranteed to work for everyone, but
yeah.
you can give it a try.
But
We
we
won't
are
stop you.
prescribing that you take everything everybody says both seriously and lightly.
And lightly. Yes.
Yeah, I think
I like
that's
that.
the message. Yeah.
All
All right,
right.
this is when we're not hustling after party.
Please like and subscribe and comment and interact with us any way you like and find us on socials at Not Hustling Pod.
Perfect.